I'm ready to take the questions. No, not really. I just want to go chase.
When you look at kind of the matchups and what week one presents, what do you go back to? How much of it is what you guys do? How much of it is scheming against the Broncos? Because this is a unique challenge for week one.
No doubt. I think like when you're playing an uncommon opponent, you know. Oh, okay. When you're playing like a uncommon opponent, I think you have to kind of look at yourself. You know, like you have to be led by your rules. You have to understand how you align. You have to be able to communicate at a high level. And really, if you take that and then you look at the start of the season, like the start of the season is about execution and fundamentals. You know, like really and truthfully, everyone's still finding out who they are. You know, that's the growth of the NFL. You know, like teams evolve over the season. Like our chance to go out there, it's all about us on Sunday. It's about us and how we approach it, and when we go out there, how we execute.
I know Mike let you guys call some plays in the last preseason game. What did you kind of take from that experience and kind of handling that?
Yeah, it was a good experience. It was actually the first and the second preseason game. It was a great experience. I think like I learned a lot. Like I called him at different parts in the game that kind of affected some of the calls I'd done. How you manage personnel and how you process that. It was like for my growth, it was huge. You know, and then like as I go through it, you start getting more comfortable. You start seeing the game, and week by week, those things I can feel like day by day at times. I grow, and then I think of something I've just heard, or it's a great time. Like I'm enjoying it so much.
Are you starting to get a second sense of hearing Mike and what he's going to call before he kind of does it? Have you gotten to the point where you kind of know where he's going to go with stuff yet?
Yeah, at times. Yeah, there's like times out here in practice, like we can call it periods, like because if he's calling it, I'll call it. You know, in my head, I call it and go through the process and the mechanics of it. And a lot of times you're calling the same plays and in the same situations. You know.
Can you imagine like what the challenge is like for somebody like Mike, who is calling plays and also trying to coach the team at the same time, and the juggling that you have to do that?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I wouldn't say I can imagine it because I think it's really for him it's his experience, but I definitely see the challenges, and then I think of it more as like my job. Okay, where can I take the weight off him? You know, and how can I support him? Like what areas do I kind of flourish in, and then what areas can I see around corners for him and stuff like that. It's more me looking from, necessarily from his eyes, I try and look at it around corners for him at the moment because that's my job.
What's impressed you most about Mike and the time you worked with him there?
I'd say there's a few things, but I would say the number one thing is his ability to process information in the moment. Like he can do it at a very, very high level, and his belief in what he wants, you know, like I believe in him, and that says a lot to me.
I know you spent a lot of time with the defensive line specifically. How have you kind of just seen that group grow from the beginning to
now? I think they're growing as a group. You know, like D-line's a lot about connection and understanding how you play off each other and like what you want. And I think week by week you see that kind of vision that they want. And I think Jay Hines is doing a great job of bringing that whole thing to life. Is you see every day they're kind of making a better understanding of how, as a group, they need to play. You know, like I think when a D-line is playing really well, they understand what they're trying to achieve instead of like an individual achievement. You know, like when they do that, they can really affect the QB and they can affect the run game.
What are some of the ways you found that you can support Mike while he's calling the game?
Definitely in personnel, definitely on the sideline, coaching up the players, going through with while he think about when he's dealing with the offense, I'm dealing with stuff on the defense, on the sideline, while the offense are on the field, how we communicate that information, just areas like that, and just certain game plan things we talk about.
Julian, I think it was Julian today, talked about the defense improves every week, and just how important is that, the message into the players and part of the psyche of this organization, from Mike to yourself?
Yeah, I think really that improvement is a collective of all of us. This is them and us, you know. It's not just, they're improving. I think as we're gradually, because a lot of us are new people coming together, you know, like, and a lot of us didn't know each other. And I think you see systematically and kind of as a group, there's growth there week in, week out. And then just like anything, like as you more understand it, you can start playing freer. You can start talking with way more confidence. You start playing with way more confidence. You know, like that to me, that's the growth of those guys, and I feel like the growth of all of us as a group.
What's made the biggest impression to you about Tyrell and the way he's kind of handled the middle of the defense here?
Yeah, he's doing you see when he came in, obviously he missed the whole of spring, and then as he's gone through camp, I felt like it was like probably 10 days, 12 days into camp, there was a real shift. Like especially you felt his speed, like his ability to play sideline to sideline, and now like I felt in the last I would say last 2 weeks, his communication has gone through the roof. Like the understanding, the way he's lining people up, he's getting more confident. He's doing a great job.
What's Dre'Mont Jones' role going to look like this year?
I think his role is multiple. You know, like he has. When you get players like Dre, and I feel Leo has some of those qualities too, that you can play in different positions, on rush situations. That you try and think about how do you feature them, how do they get abilities to showcase their talents, and I think like in early football, Dre's role will be his normal role, the role that you've seen him in. And then as we get into more like pass down situations, sometimes his role can change and sometimes it will be what he's really good at. But I feel like all of those guys, when we get into situations that feature their talent, that's their role.
He obviously missed some time. Is that going to be a big deal with him, with picking things up?
I think time will tell. You know, I think like as you're coming into it, it's not like you want to rush him in. You just, like we said, give him some confidence, let him do what he's real good at, and then move him from there.
What's impressed you most about Devon Witherspoon?
There's a lot. Like I feel like, I think if you look on the field, on the playing stuff, he's got elite quickness. He's intelligent. His kind of football IQ is through the roof. Like he has an uncanny ability to like study stuff and know what's coming and be ahead of the play. But really, the thing that's impressed me is his growth as a leader, I would say, in the last, especially over training camp. Like, you feel him. You feel like it's not that he's more mature. Like, I think he was a mature guy when I first met him, but he's understanding what he means to the defense and how he can drive and influence people.
Do you have any examples of ways that you've seen him?
Yeah, I've just seen him, like, when practice is going well, when it's not going well, just being able to stand up, have the energy that, you know, he's like a little ball of energy. So it's like when he's like that, he brings other people up, and how he uses that is important, and he's doing like a great job of that.
To add to that, is there that he's got a high accountability of self?
Yeah, I think he's an elite competitor. Like, he doesn't ever want to lose, you know? Like, you can see that. You can see that when you're watching practice. I think, but that is just him. Now I think he's giving it to all of the guys and us around him, and that's what I feel.
Anything else?
Thanks, guys.